Hey guys, we're here today to have a quick chat about why I believe video games are the supreme form of entertainment and in what ways they outclass the other forms of entertainment that we have at our disposal. First off, I want to be clear that I do not believe video games are better than going outside and taking part in a physical activity. Those will not be included in this, and at any given moment, I would definitely take up a game of flag football or racquetball, something of that sort, as opposed to jumping on a video game. Not only are outdoor activities much better for your body and health, but they can also a lot of times be a lot cheaper. And the second thing I want to point out before we get started is I am a person on the internet telling you my opinion. So clearly, if you don't share this opinion, you should jump down in the comments and defend yourself as if you're being personally attacked by me. Because I am probably about to say some negative things about some entertainment options, especially books. We will be talking about 5 specific entertainment options, being video games, movies and TV, sporting events, live concerts, and books. And I feel like I have a decent amount of experience in each of these avenues. Clearly, I have a video gaming channel. I love movies and TV. I have probably rewatched Scrubs and The Office 15 to 20 times each. I have been to quite a few sporting events, although I don't enjoy them, but I do love sports themselves, especially football and mixed martial arts. And I have been to a few concerts, and again, although I don't quite enjoy those, I can see the appeal and understand why other people like them. And then finally, we have books. I have read a book, and not just the pictures, words and all. And we will be talking about these 5 different entertainment options in 3 different categories, being how much we get involved in the activity we're in, how well each one keeps up their longevity or replayability, and their cost or investment. The first topic being our involvement in the activity we're taking part in. The first obvious area of involvement that we're not going to really delve into, since video games clearly win it, is us having choices inside of video games. Movies and TV shows follow a script and don't care about the viewer's involvement or choice at all. It's simply a watching experience. Books are the same way, and you may feel involved in a concert or a live sporting event, but you have no effect or impact on the game or the concert in any way, shape, or form. Whereas video games at least provide you with some dialogue options and choices, multiple endings in some cases, or in games like MMORPGs, you create the game world or create the economy and can actually determine how things go on your server. But the other part of involvement or activity level is actually a physical activity level. Like I said before, none of these really match up to doing an actual physical activity or partaking in a sport or a game. But I think video games do the best job stimulating your brain and your problem-solving capabilities, as opposed to the other options. Clearly, movies and TV show are the worst in this area. Whether it's at the movie theater or on your couch, you're sitting there doing nothing but watching a screen go by, and it doesn't create much activity, if any. Sporting events, because they're outdoors, can make you sometimes feel like you're doing something productive, but all in all, you're pretty much just working your vocal cords by screaming for any given team, and it doesn't require much involvement in any way either. Concerts do pretty good in this area just because of the jumping up and down or dancing to the beat of the song. It can actually build up some activity and is a lot more involved than some of the other options. And I know book lovers like to claim that books stimulate your brain and get you thinking and require imagination. But the truth is, books tell you exactly what's happening in incredible detail. There's nothing left to the imagination. They tell you word for word how someone looks in the book or what the atmosphere or location looks like, because it all comes back to the classic, a picture is worth 1,000 words. The book needs to explain to you an entire picture using just words. So you get the entire thing really spelled out for you, and it doesn't require much imagination or creativity or activity from the reader in any way. This is why movie and TV adaptations of books often can be so much shorter, because they are able to show so much more on screen and deliver what the book is trying to get across in a much quicker format. This is where video games excel. If you're someone who enjoys player versus player games, then you can really work your twitch muscles and response time. If you enjoy games with good dungeon mechanics or puzzle solving, it can really work your brain on problem solving issues and adapting and adjusting on the fly. Don't get me wrong, you're still sitting in a chair looking at a screen, but if you're playing the right style of games, you can actually get some pretty good development from it and improve your cognitive response time, twitch muscles, or your problem solving in a lot of different areas. Now we can move on to topic number 2, which is the replayability or longevity of any of these entertainment options. Overall length of enjoyment is something that can be debated across all of them. It depends on how fast or slow you go through the process of reading a book, playing a video game, watching a TV show. But the replayability is an area where video games excel in over these other categories because it's the only one that brings any replayability. And this is someone who's rewatched TV shows over and over again, rewatched movies over and over again. No matter how many times I do that, it'll never change. It doesn't matter how many times I rewatch The Office, Dwight will always hit himself in the face with his phone once Jim takes the nickels out. Sporting events are terrible in this category. I know almost no one that's going to rewatch the same football game or the same baseball game over and over again, and you especially won't do that if your team lost. And if you take a concert, there's almost no way to even rewatch a live concert. If you're talking about music in general, it's much cheaper and you will re-listen to it, but the concert experience itself can never be recaptured or re-experienced in the same way. I think books, movies, and TV show all can kind of tie at number 2 in this category if we were to rank them, because they can at least be re-enjoyed by someone who's a real diehard fan of that series. But the journey will never change in it. You may notice different things you didn't pick up on the first time, and that can bring some joy though. Sporting events, concerts, they rank the last in this because you can never recapture that live feel of either one. And video games would clearly be around the top because there are different paths to take, or there are different classes to play, different weapons to use. And this can almost be applied to any genre of video games. The replayability we're given in video games allows us to enjoy a video game more than we would a TV show or book or anything like that on average, because the experience is not fleeting. People can come back to video games time and time again and put thousands of hours into the same MMO because we can receive live, real-time updates to give us new things to enjoy or replayability to enjoy without us having to purchase a new book, a new movie, or a necessarily new experience. And if we're going to look at the third topic I have on this list, which is cost. Now, cost is not an overall thing looking at the total price, but rather the cost we spent for every hour of enjoyment. I think this is the clearest way to look at the cost of entertainment. You can take one of the most popular forms of entertainment there is, which is going to the movies. The average ticket price in 2019 was $9.16. Now, if you look at the fact that the average movie is most likely around 2 hours, we're dividing this $9 between 2 hours, and you're paying around $4 or $5 per hour of entertainment to go to the movies. Now, this doesn't include buying snacks or anything like that, which I think can equal out in video games to cash shops, and then things at sporting events like getting food and snacks as well. But just the admission price alone for a movie was about $4 or $5 per hour of entertainment. Sporting events can get ridiculously high on this, and you can look at Major League Baseball's average ticket price in 2019 or 2020 was around $32, $34. And the NFL got way up near $100, and both of these provide you with about 3 hours of entertainment, which can divide out for the MLB to $11 an hour, or around $33 per hour of entertainment for the NFL. Concerts fall roughly in line with the NFL at about $96 per ticket for 2019, and their length being anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours. Say we take that at the high end, and you're paying around $32 per hour of entertainment, and that gets worse if it's a shorter concert. Now, these different venues can actually be seen as a waste of money, depending on a couple of other factors. If you go to a sporting event and your team loses, then that money wasn't very well spent, and you don't enjoy the experience quite as much. You can go see a bad movie and not enjoy what you spent on the ticket cost and deem it as a waste. Now, this can clearly happen with anything such as video games or books as well, but I think video games do a better job with the cost and not seeming like a waste, since you can own the game for years and revisit it down the road and maybe have a different outlook on it. You can never go back to a game or a movie and revisit that experience to see if it's any better. That money is already spent and gone, and the experience is fleeting. Now, books are a slightly more interesting story. The length of books can be read at way different speeds for people, so it's hard to narrow down exactly how long it takes you to read a book. But there have been some places that have tried to take a look at it and see what the average read time is for certain series. For example, they claim that the Lord of the Rings series is about 26.2 hours to read for the average person. And something like the massive Harry Potter series would be about 60 hours to read. Now, if we were to look at the price to buy the Lord of the Rings set on Amazon right now, it's $40 for the paperback for all 4 of the books, being the trilogy and the Hobbit, or it's say $25 for the mass market paperback, whatever that means. And then the Harry Potter series would be about $56 to buy right now on Amazon. If you divide the price to buy the Harry Potter series or the Lord of the Rings series by how long they roughly tell you it takes to read it, they're about 90 cents per hour of entertainment for Harry Potter and 80 cents for Lord of the Rings. Now that is a phenomenal price per hour of entertainment, and clearly would put books way up there. But something to keep in mind is that this is the current prices for the entire series of these book sets, and not an individual book price when they launched. If you bought these books when they launched and read them as soon as it came out, the price on this would go way up and make this a lot less lucrative on a per hour basis. Now again, the same thing could be said about video games. Clearly when you buy them new, they're not quite as good of an investment, and you're going to get good ones and bad ones. But even if we take a game like Outriders that is deemed a bad launch and a bad game right now, and you go down into the data and look at the median total playtime, which is 80 hours, and the average total playtime, which is 65, even at the lower end of this, which is the 65 hours, at a $60 box cost for the game, you are paying less than $1 an hour. And it puts it around 90 cents per hour of playtime for the average person in Outriders. Now you can see here that I've put 222 hours in Outriders for only a $60 box cost. That means I paid about 27 cents per hour of entertainment for a game that most people deem a bad game. I've put 348 hours into Valheim, which was only $20 to buy, which means I have paid 5 cents per hour of entertainment on this game. I've put 448 hours into Conan Exiles, which can come out to some very different prices per hour depending on how much you spent on it, but I believe the standard is $40 for it, which is 8 cents an hour. Again, all of these are just personal experience, and your prices per game may vary, but the cost per hour on video games ties directly into my previous two topics. Video games have more replayability than the other avenues of entertainment, and they provide more involvement, which links to the replayability and have you coming back to redo it with a different class, with a different path, a different avenue, or a different choice, which allows you to get more total playtime and lower your overall cost. Even when you're looking at a supposedly bad option like Outriders, you spent maybe $1 an hour on average. When you're looking at a great option like Valheim, you spent 5 cents per hour of entertainment, and that entertainment doesn't end where it's at. I spent $20 on Valheim, and when they inevitably create more updates, I will come back and put more into it, lowering my overall cost. I will never return to the book and there be something new to make me read it again, unless I'm just a diehard of that one book. But video games will always be there for me to revisit when there's a new update, a new change, or a new alteration, and create a better cost to length ratio every time I go back to it. The only thing that could be argued is a better investment of your money in any of these categories is TV shows, or a streaming service, more accurately like Netflix. This is because you pay the monthly cost and there is no limit on how much you can watch or use that cost in that month. And given that it's a pretty low cost each month, you could probably put up a lot of hours on it. But as we discussed before in the involvement category, movies and TV shows are the worst in this area. At least when you're sitting on the couch reading a book, your brain is forced to create these pictures and create these images that you're being told, where movies, you're being shown on screen. Hopefully this video was entertaining for you guys. Why don't you let me know in the comments what you think about the entertainment industry as a whole and who has it the best, who gets the best quality content, who pays the best prices, and who can enjoy them for the longest. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.